So welcome guys to the RaceChoice studio. We're here with our 2022 MRS Series champion and local RaceChoice driver Jacob Perry, also the winner of our contest earlier this year. So welcome Jacob, thank you for coming today, and tell us a little bit about your season, how it went, and how you led up to that championship.
Yeah, no, thank you guys for having me here at the RaceChoice studio. Pretty honored to be up here. We had a decent season, actually. It started off a little bit tough, had some mechanical failures and gremlins early in the season, but thanks to parts over here from RaceChoice, I was able to get the car fixed up and back in a lot better condition, and somehow we were able to pull the championship off at the very last race of the season, coming in with a 14-point deficit. So that was a pretty cool way to end the season, and just really looking forward to what we have planned for 2023, and hopefully it goes even bigger.
It's awesome. And I know you're a local racer. You grew up in Connecticut, started racing in Connecticut. Tell us a little bit about how you got into racing and how you made your move all the way up from the divisions you ran, because I know you jumped around and ran a ton of divisions.
Yeah, no, my parents actually were the ones that got me started in racing. My whole family's been racing. Butch Perry, then my grandfather, then my dad. They were all local racers at the Speed Bowl, Thompson, Stafford. So kind of bounced around between the three Connecticut tracks, and then I came up, ran Silver City and Thompson with the quarter midget stuff, went to the Bandoleros, raced with the one and only Walnuts over here, and then we went to mini stocks, ran local at the Speed Bowl, Thompson Speedway, and ran some good races in the mini stocks, I guess, because I got a call to run some tour mod stuff, and that's pretty much where it went from there. We started running tour mods, super late models down south, pro stocks up here, NEMA midgets, dirt midgets out at the Chili Bowl, and now we're supposed to be trying to go ARCA racing. So it's been an adventure. We can say that. Yeah,
definitely. And those of you who are watching this and are tuning in, obviously Jacob Perry is very adamant on social media. He's posting everywhere constantly, so definitely try to check out his page and see his racing updates week after week. So he's really good about that. I'm glad he could join us today. So I know, like I said, you've been around the block with racing and all these different cars. I mean, different states, different cars, just up and down the East Coast. When it comes to kind of doing a touring series like you did in the MRS, what is the most important thing to take when you are looking to be consistent on so many different tracks, but it also is tracks you've never been through before?
Yeah, of course. I think the biggest thing that you can take from this is you can't overthink. We've overthought. We've changed the entire car to go from one track to another track, and I unload and I go right back to my baseline. So I know certain guys are adamant about this has to be changed, this has to be changed. If you have a good baseline, you can't overthink that baseline. If I unload with the same baseline every single time, I know exactly what my car is going to do. I know exactly what tires I have on the car, and if that's a tire feel, if that's a car feel, what's wrong with it. So I just think the biggest thing is you can't overthink. You can't let the new track get into your head. You can't let a different setup get into your head. You really have to be kind of hands-on, understand what your setup is, what the car wants, what you want from the car, and then as you're learning the track, you can be a little bit more demanding. But I actually really enjoy going to new tracks. It gives me a new challenge every single time. You never know what to expect, and I've actually learned a lot of my favorite new tracks by going to new tracks and just kind of have an open mind. One of the tracks I didn't do that with was the Chili Bowl. I let it intimidate me, and it showed for the first couple days. But by the end, I was finally able to just kind of clear my head, go back to a baseline, and we were able to run really decent on Saturday at the Chili Bowl. So I'll take that. But yeah, no, the biggest thing is you can't let it intimidate you. You just kind of go and don't overthink.
Right. And obviously, your success doesn't go unnoticed this year. Obviously, the 2022 MRS champion. Who has, contributed to this success and, tried to promote you in the best way possible to make you the driver you are today?
Yeah, I mean, the first people I got to thank is RaceChoice, obviously. Couldn't do it without you guys, and I'm still buying off of you guys and doing everything I can to work with you guys. Going ARCA racing, got to have the best of the best, and they're changing rules, so got to spend more money to support it, and
right.
that's why I'm coming to you guys. So really grateful for RaceChoice's support. Huge thank you to Jack Bateman and Jack's Competition Engines. Without him, I wouldn't be able to run the MRS or have a car to even be able to race in the Tour Mod divisions. Norm at APE has also been huge and instrumental in my career. He's the first guy to give me a real shot in a Tour Type Modified. Mark Charette gave me a shot in a Pro 4. So there's a ton of people I'd have to thank, and every single one of the car owners has given me an opportunity to make myself who I am today. So huge thank you to Jeff McClure Racing, Kenny Johnson Motorsports. I mean, without these guys, I wouldn't be where I am, and I'm just super grateful for it. My parents have been very, very big roles in my racing, whether it's just supporting me or giving me a place to sleep because I'm spending all my money out racing, because I'm not one of those rich kids that can just come up and write a check. So I'm trying to earn everything the hard way. I spent a lot of time down in North Carolina. A lot of time talking to RaceChoice driver Ryan Preece as well.
Absolutely.
So just trying to get as much advice as we can and try and make the most of it.
Right. And it is December 13th for, about half month left until the new year. 2023 is coming, right around the corner. What do you have in store for the new year?
Yeah, we're starting the new year January 13th, so exactly 1 month from now.
Awesome.
I will be in sunny Southwest Florida. I'll be taking my first ever laps at Daytona International Speedway in the JMR Racing 44 ARCA car. I'm supposed to be running the test down there, so super excited to be able to run a stock car at Daytona. I mean, that's kind of every kid's
awesome,
dream, you
right?
know?
Yeah.
And if everything goes well with the test and I can secure enough funding, we'll be racing Daytona. And I'm trying to work a little bit on trying to get some of the ARCA East schedule. Really like to look into that schedule. It's a little bit cheaper option, and the opportunity to chase the championship in ARCA. So huge opportunity, and we're looking into it. And other than that, probably go play with a little bit of modified stuff as we can. There's nothing else scheduled for me though.
Cool.
Have Daytona, and then I'm just gonna kind of wing it,
Yep. So looking back, I mean, obviously I said over and over again that you've just come up through the ranks driving these different cars and going to these different tracks. If you look back, let's say 5 years, did you ever think you'd be in a position where you are now to, be like, hey, I have a chance to run ARCA at Daytona this year?
It's kind of crazy because me and my dad have two very different perspectives on that. Our budget says we should still be running mini stocks,
Yep.
And to be able to say I'm going to Daytona running ARCA cars with some of the best guys out there is pretty much an honor. I never doubted that I wouldn't be able to do it. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's been times where I've shot myself in the foot and I've been looking down as much as I can.
Of course.
And just that's the racing world, that's the sports world, You're going to have the highs and lows of it. But I never doubted the fact that I could get there. It was just a matter of how I had to get there because I wasn't able to do what other people have done to be able to take the steps and just jump through all those different cars. And I think everything that you drive makes you a better driver, and that's why I'm trying to spend as much time in the seat as I possibly can, and that's why I'm super, super excited to be able to be where we are. And I do. My dad still doesn't know that we should be there, but he doesn't question it now. So
Yep. No, that's awesome. So aside from racing, I know racing has been a part of your life ever since you were born. You said, your family grew up racing. Obviously, we're in the off season. Is there anything you do in the off season that's worthwhile or keeps you busy, or is it kind of all racing related?
I'm not sure what an off season truly is. No, I just got back from PRI a couple days ago.
Yep.
I'm just trying to continue to network and build my racing resume, go learn as much as I can in the seminars and everything else, and then I'm stripping race cars, I'm rebuilding race cars, and I'm helping buddies out on race cars. So my hobbies and my life is racing.
It's racing, but not at the track.
Exactly. So I'm still doing everything I can to try and just build my racing career, make myself better as a driver. I'll spend a little bit of time on the simulators over the winter, just trying to learn new tracks, learn new setup techniques. I like to play with bump stops a little bit with the super late models.
Yep.
That was something that when I first got down into the supers and full fender cars down south, I wasn't super comfortable with because I didn't get to play with it up here. So I just pretty much use every tool I possibly can to try and make myself a little bit better. And there is no true off season in racing. There's nothing else I do besides live, breathe, and sleep on race cars.
All right. Well, best of luck to you next year. I'm
Thank
hoping, you hit some dirt hard out there and get to victory lane on not just dirt but asphalt too. So excited to see what you can do next year.
Thank you. We're planning on it. We're going to try our best, and it's going to be an interesting schedule, so stay tuned.
Awesome. So as all your sponsors have, contributed to, your racing success throughout the season, obviously us at RaceChoice have been one. If you can, tell us a little bit about, how RaceChoice has influenced you to promote yourself at the track and, kind of give back and show what RaceChoice is all about.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's one of the best parts about RaceChoice is how racer-friendly they are and how company-friendly they are. It's an absolute blast to be able to hang out with you guys and spend time, but it's also how much it has impacted our racing stuff. I was able to pick up a set of new scales, and just the accuracy in the set of new scales was tremendous. I didn't realize how much I was missing, just a couple tenths off or just a couple numbers here and there, and those new scales made a big difference. We were able to pick up our first win on dirt in our 10th race at Lebanon Valley, so it was huge for our race team. I own the car outright, and I don't put a ton into it, and I only race it a few times a year, so it was really cool. And without RaceChoice, I don't think we would have been in victory lane, because there was a bunch of things that we found. I was able to get a new spring smasher from RaceChoice, and that has been humongous in our tour mod team especially. On dirt, I don't change a lot of spring stuff, but with the asphalt stuff, it's been huge. Like at Seekonk Speedway for the tri-track race, I had never run Seekonk before. I unloaded on Friday and started making changes after changes after changes. I couldn't find the baseline that I wanted, and without the spring smasher, I would have been guessing. Straight up guessing. You're trying to count the number of turns you're putting on that spring, and you're hoping it's somewhat close on the load numbers, but no, with the spring smasher, it makes everything that much more accurate. There's no more guessing, there's no more guesstimating. Everything is much more simple and accurate, and it showed. I mean, we qualified in with 50 cars at the Tri-Track show. We ended up finishing 7th, our first ever time there. So without RaceChoice, I definitely couldn't have been able to do that. Another big thing that I love to be able to do is 90% of the races we do have autograph sessions, whether it's the Open 80s at Stafford, Open Shows at Thompson, ARCA stuff, Whalen Tour. So being able to give out some RaceChoice coupons, some little bit of product here and there, some stickers. All the kids love stickers, so it's great to be able to promote your sponsor in a positive light. And when you're active at the autograph sessions and the kids love it and everybody gets to interact, it's a huge deal, and I think it brings a lot of exposure to RaceChoice, and I'm really looking forward to being able to do more of it in 2023.
Well, we definitely appreciate that. And briefly before we let you go, I know you mentioned dirt for a little bit. Jacob Perry also drives on dirt, which is really cool. Is there a different mindset when you go to a dirt track versus asphalt track, starting from the beginning of the day to the end of the day? Is it kind of like if you're chasing the setup, you have more room for error if you make adjustments, or kind of is dirt like once you're at the track, you got what you got?
Yeah, I mean, dirt is just a totally different world in general, honestly. First time I ever showed up to a dirt track, I didn't know what to do, because you get there about 3 o'clock, you practice for 3 laps at 5, and then everything's slow paced after that, and then you get into features. So I didn't know what to do with my time. I'm not chasing after an hour of practice. Okay, maybe I want to do this, maybe I want to do that. There's not a lot of pinpoint stuff you can do. And you're right, the track changes so much with dirt racing. Like when we unload, I know I will never be in the top 5 of practice times in a dirt car, ever. We'll never be in the top 5 of practice at Lebanon Valley, just because when the track is wet and tacky, we are not fast. Simple as that. I'm just not super fast on a wet track. Second that we're the last feature of the night and the track's a dry, slick track, we come to life.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely hurting me a little bit in the long run, trying to come from the back of a heat race, trying to come from the back of the feature. But once we are able to do it, and depending on the night, the track will be more slick than another night. And so it's definitely a totally different mindset, and you have to prepare yourself for it. I mean, there's no practice. You're doing a lot more tire prep over the course of the week. Pressure washing is no fun.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
It's just it's a different world. I really enjoy it, and I think it truly makes you a better asphalt racer when you do run more dirt. Makes you 10 times more smooth on asphalt because you're so used to being in a pitch and being in the slide. I absolutely love it. Like I said, I'm pretty new to it still. Learning a lot as we go, but it's definitely a blast, and I look forward to trying to do some more of it in 2023.
Yeah, and I know, distinguishing between asphalt and dirt, I'm sure you've ran plenty of race weekends where you've ran dirt one night and asphalt the next day, or vice versa.
Yep.
So is that kind of stressful, or is it kind of just I'm jumping in the race car, I don't care where I'm at, I'm in a race car, I'm happy?
Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of both to it.
Yeah.
Like I said, preparing my own dirt cars out of my own shop makes it a little bit more stressful.
Yep.
Because I know the setup is on me, so if I suck that night, there's nobody else to blame but me. And then with the tour mod stuff, I mean, it's kind of similar. A lot of the stuff, we do the setup ourselves and everything, but it's still, I mean, I can bounce crew chief ideas off each other. With the dirt car, I'm driver, crew chief, I'm the only idiot behind the wheel, you know?
Yep.
So it makes it a little bit different, but yeah, I just love being behind the wheel of anything. Doesn't really matter to me. But yeah, it definitely can be stressful. So like I went from Loudon to Lebanon Valley in the same weekend, and that was an experience for sure.
Yeah.
Getting to drive a 640 horse tour mod at Loudon, tucked up in the draft with John McKennedy, and then you go to Lebanon Valley and you're intentionally sliding a car around, when at Loudon you're trying to keep it as straight as possible, as long as possible, and my little crate motor in my car doesn't like the way I like to drive it after I get out of a tour mod trying to use the throttle stuff. So no, it's you kind of have to keep different mindsets going into the two different cars, just knowing the way that they're going to react differently and the way the track is going to change throughout the day. But all in all, they're still a race car, and just grateful to do what I do.
That's awesome. Well, we appreciate you coming out today. Really happy you were able to come and sit down and do this with not just myself, but the RaceChoice team. Looking forward to seeing you perform in 2023. If you haven't already, check out him on Facebook. I'm sure most of you already know him, but big things coming for this kid in 2023. He'll be racing pretty much everywhere, so you won't miss him. So stay tuned, and thanks for coming out.
No, thank you guys for having me. It's an honor to be here at RaceChoice, and super excited to represent such a great company and such great morals. So super excited to see what we can do in 2023, and let's keep carrying the name.
Appreciate it.
Thank
you,
you.
man.